What's up, guys? Craig Mack here, Liberty Bell Beekeepers. Actually doing some beekeeping today. Plan was to do splits, and I went through a couple of colonies, and I don't have any drones out yet in the colonies that I've looked at. Lots of capped drone brood, but not any drones out and about as of yet. So I'm going to hold off on doing my splits probably for maybe another 3 or 4 days. See if I get some of those drones out and about, but it's probably going to be another week. So what I thought was going to be May, the first week of May, is probably going to be the second week of May, judging by the look. So I'm going to have to let everybody know that who reserved nukes said, hey, it's going to be a little bit longer than I anticipated, but that's just what it is. This year's weather was different than last year's. Last year's weather was beautiful in some senses, where March was really warm. The bees were really busy right off the get-go in April. And I did splits April 1st last year. This year looks like it's going to be, closer to the end of the first week or so. So I'm just going to go through a box, check it out. My overwintering setup, 2-inch foam underneath my lid. I build these shim boards. It's 1.5 inch, 3/4 inch hole screened on the back, and an entrance hole in the front, and then a 2-inch hole in the center. I can use this in a couple of ways, as if I need to feed dry sugar, which I haven't had to yet, because I try to do my best to leave as much honey on the board in the box as possible. But I always break them down to 10 frames. I shouldn't say always. I break them down to 10 frames, 5 deeps, 5 mediums, and that's how I go into winter. It seemed to have worked well for me last year, so I'm going to continue to do so this year. If it ain't broke, right? Try to make myself some maneuver. So this colony's got a lot of bees, all jammed up in the upper super. It looks like they've opened up a good portion of this. We'll see what kind of honey, if they have any honey left. This colony's been very active this spring. It was a good colony going into winter. And so far this spring it's looked good from the outside. And this will be my first time going into it this year. Still got some honey. Looks like I think they're putting nectar away already. I have been putting some honey water and some old honey frames out that were wonky, or some foundationless honey super frames. I don't like doing foundationless in my supers because it's just much easier to extract when you have foundation. The frames are just sturdier, especially if they're newly drawn. That new wax is so delicate, it just rips apart when you go to extract. Okay, so I got drones in this, at least one I see. So yeah, I see some drones in this colony. Eggs, nectar, honey. Usually the queen will lay up into this super. Again, some drones, eggs. So even though I'm seeing drones in this one, I haven't seen any of them out flying yet. So I'm still going to hold off on my splits a few more days and let them get really build up and flying and ready. They got wax drawn in between the bottom and the top here, a lot of honey in there. So I'm not even going to get into this brood chamber today, although I probably should. To see if they got any swarm cells started, and use this one as kind of my gauge to see where the rest of them are at. So yeah, I'm going to open this up. I said there is a fair bit of wax and drone brood. In between the super. This one I think I cut wrong and it sits a little bit deeper on the one side. I just noticed this. I think I cut this board wrong. You can see how much space is from the top of the frame to the rail in the front, and the difference back here. It's definitely different, and that's why I have so much buildup in here, because there's just way more space than there should be, and they just filled it with honey. And usually they'll put drone brood in between that, in between the supers, because like I said, there is that space there. So yeah, I'm not going to mess with this. This is just going to be messy and dangerous to try to get in here, and I don't know, I could probably let the bees clean this up a few minutes and then get back in here, but I'm just going to close them up. As to not endanger my queen or cause too much more disruption in this box. Although I know I've already just disrupted it. So sometimes you got to make judgment calls and change your game plan. I have to change my game plan here. I had planned on doing splits today. It's an absolutely gorgeous day to get in the boxes, and the bees are busy and gentle, and I don't think I'm quite ready to do it. I got everything set up and ready, all my boxes, frames, everything's laid out, but I got to back off. I got to back off and let them do their thing for probably another 4 or 5 days. Although I do have some drone brood hatched, they still need time before they're flying. So I'm probably going to wait to do my splits. That is what it is. Last year I had my nukes ready, my splits on April 1st. This year it'll be probably the 7th or 8th by the time I get them and they're ready for splits. So we'll take another look in a couple of days and see how I fare, and go from there. Thanks for watching, guys.